hard rock heaven or what? This pedal is just absolutely amazing. Now before I tell you all about it, please do remember to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and please do give the video a thumbs up and share it on your social media. It is much appreciated and helps out so much. This here is the Redstuff Amplification 87 pedal. It is the baby 87. I love calling it the baby 87 because it's dinky. Well, comparatively to the other units. The full 1987 pedal is a bigger version of this. This is obviously the tiny little version which is more compact, and it has a few less features than the bigger brother of this little pedal. And also, this is essentially the same engine which lives in my Redstuff 1987 fat amplifier. Yeah, it's that tone in this tiny little box. Look at it, it's beautiful. It's built so beautifully. I love the build quality. Every time Stefan, my buddy, sends me something to check out, I take it out of the box and I just look at it like, wow, this is a piece of jewelry. This is musical jewelry. And it literally is. Just such a wonderful pedal. Now, I'm very familiar with the 1987 sound because in my amp, my 1987 fat amp, this is essentially the sound that I get. Now, the thinking behind this was to do a smaller version with a few less features because not everyone wants a 2-channel version of the 1987 pedal. So the 87 is a single channel pedal, just a simple input and output, and it takes an 18-volt power supply, 50 milliamps for your information. Has the same features in terms of EQ as its bigger siblings: a low, a mid shift, and a high. Now the mid shift and the mid are fantastic controls to have because you can really dial in that mid range how you like it. I find myself actually using this a lot because it tone shapes so beautifully and it helps me to nail that sound that I'm hearing in my head and that I want to hear out of my speakers. So this is a really super powerful function, the shift and the mid control itself. I use a lot of mids in my tone anyway, so you know, it's just a wonderful function to have. Gain, obviously, need more gain. And then you have a more switch. Now this more switch doesn't actually add more gain, but what it does do is adds more thump in the low end, which is fantastic. So when I was playing my Strat, I actually engaged that and it gave a little bit more body to that low end, and it works beautifully. It's not overpowering, it's quite subtle, but just beautifully dialed in. Now the next function is the A-F. This is actually the gain structure switch. Now on the bigger version there are 6 different positions. On here there's just a switch between 2 different positions. And Stefan and I actually went back and forth kind of just testing which ones we were going to include in this pedal because we had 6 variations. And it was a question of which ones do we actually pick because they all sound fantastic. They all do something a little bit different. They all give a slightly different vibe, slightly different EQ curve. So which ones do we pick? And we eventually just picked the 2 which were the most opposite from each other. So A is a little bit less gain and it has a little bit less mid-range, and F is a little bit higher gain, and also there's this pronounced mid-range, a little bit more low end as well. So you can switch between 2 different tonalities on the pedal. And again, this is something that I used when I did the track. Worked beautifully for that. And then you have a volume, which just gives you your overall volume for the pedal. Now different on this is the blue LED which lights up around the switch, which is just beautiful. Now as this is a preamp pedal, what I wanted to do was actually take the output and put it into the return on the loop of my Redstuff 1987 fat amplifier. So rather than actually going through the preamp of that, I basically wanted this to do all the heavy lifting in terms of the tones. So the tones that you're hearing aren't actually going through another preamp or anything. They're literally going into the power amp section and the DI section of my 1987 fat amp and then into my DAW. So you're hearing all the tones which this is creating is nothing from the actual amplifier itself. And it did such a wonderful job. The other thing that I wanted to do was see how it reacted to pedals. I have my favorite Tube Screamer pedal, my Ibanez TS808, which I've modified and just sounds fantastic, and I love this pedal. And I wanted to see how they interact with each other, whether I could use this as like a rhythm channel and then boost it with this for more gain, more gain, more gain. And it did a wonderful job, really saturated the pedal nicely and in a very natural way. It didn't kind of bark out or anything or kind of get flubby or anything. It just added more gain, more tone, and it pushed those mids a little bit more, which the TS808 is famous for. Did wonderfully well for those lead tones, those really kind of, you know, smooth, searing lead tones. Now this pedal isn't just great for high gain tones. I did my clean tones and the low gain tones with this as well. And it sounded excellent, especially with my Strat. Just turned the gain all the way down like I've just shown here. And then I put the more button on for a little bit more bass. And it sounded fantastic. I could use all of the EQ to actually dial in my tone, and it sounded just beautiful. Then what I did was, when I did the lead, I actually switched from F to A on the gain structure switch and just dialed up the gain to maybe about halfway, maybe a little bit more. Put it on my neck pickup on my Strat. Beautiful, beautiful, stunning tone, and I loved playing that little solo, you know, with just a little bit of gain going on and stuff. Just, it reacts so well to that as well, and it's such a dynamic sounding pedal. Like I said, this is a piece of musical jewelry, and it made all the right sounds. When I plugged it in, it was like, yeah, I know what I'm going to do with this. I know which track I'm going to write with this. And it harked back to that whole hard rock AOR thing, and just worked beautifully. So when I got the track done, it was like, all right, I need to add some keys to this now, right? I need some pianos on it and keys and strings, and just came together beautifully. So do check it out on the Redstuff website. They retail for 295 euros, and it's just such a brilliant pedal. Like I said, this is the sound which I use every day, you know, in my bigger amp, and I totally adore it. So any of you wondering which sound I, you know, use on my tracks, yeah, this one, just a bigger version of the amp, you know, the pedal I use. So go and check it out on the Redstuff website. I am going to give you some isolated tracks so you can hear this all by itself. Alright guys, have a fantastic day. Like I said, please do subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and share it with your friends as well. It's so much appreciated. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll be back with another video really soon. Hopefully another Redstuff video. Yeah! Have a great day guys. See you later. Bye!